Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you can place images in basically in text frames. They're not actually technically in the frame, but they interact with the text frame. So if you have all your text placed, like I have a bunch of text in this document, I'm going to close this though, and what if I want to put an image or two in here? But I don't want it just to be blocks of images. It's more special than that. Well, we can use a couple of things. We can create a clipping mask on an image in Photoshop and place it in this document. Or we can have an image that has a plain background, white is the best usually, that we can put in here, and InDesign will actually create a clipping mask with it for it. So that's what we're going to do here. So the first thing we're going to do is I create a image frame on here, and you may not be able to see it, but there's an image frame, which I use this tool right here, the rectangle frame tool, and I've created a frame, and I want to place an image in there. Now I have created a clipping mask of an image that is in the public domain. It's by some probably famous painter that I don't know, but anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my Command D for place, and here it is. And you can see it's a PSD file because I created a clipping path in PSD or in Photoshop. And the way you do that is you basically just lasso around the area that you want to clip away from the background, and you save that as a clipping path. Alright, so I'm going to do that, open, and there it is. And you can see it's already showing a clipping. I'm going to fix it so that it fits a little bit better. There we go. Now let's see how that works. You can see it has the clipping path. We can't see the background. Let me show the original image. Let's see, let's open this with, whoops, open this with preview. So here's the original image, so you can see there was a green background. And I didn't cut it out, I just made a path using the lasso selection tool around this area, and then it creates a clipping path. So now I'm back at my image, my page, and I've got my image in there, and it's working with making the background disappear because I put a clipping path in there. But the text is behind the image. I can't read the text. So we're going to use the text wrap panel by going to Window and then choosing Text Wrap. And here's the panel. And you should know about this before. We talked about this before. But basically, we're going to talk about this one right here, wrap around the object shape. So when I click that, what you see is that now the text is not behind the image, but unfortunately, it's not wrapping to the image itself. It's wrapping to the bounding box of that image, which is not what we want. So what we can do is go down here under Contour Options, and that's basically, you're telling it in this area where it should wrap around. And we created the path in Photoshop, the clipping path, and saved it. It automatically saved as path 1 when we saved it. And so we're going to click that. And now you see the text is moved. It's not behind the image anymore. It's right next to the image. Now if you have you can actually create more than one path in any one Photoshop image. So if there's like things you're not sure if you want to include it or not include it, you can create two paths, one that includes the something extra and one that doesn't include that extra thing, and you can tell which one, decide which one you want. So, but here, now, even though we have the text isn't going behind the image anymore, it's right up on top of the image, and it's still not very easy to read. So what we can do is we can offset it. We can say, hey, leave some space between the image and the text. And so what we're going to do, even though these have all four, but basically when we increase this one, it increases all four. It's defaulted to increase the offset the same amount. So when I click on it, you can see the text is moving, and you'll see a little blue line around our image. That is our new clipping path, basically. So we're telling InDesign to take the path that Photoshop made and use it to start with, and then as I adjust it, create a new clipping path. And so now this is what you got, and I'm going to go to a preview. And so you have a terrific image in the middle of your text, adds a lot of interest. This also works if you have an image that has a plain background that is very different from the image you want to show. For example, the photograph of something taken with a white background, a plain white background. Well, InDesign can do some of the clipping for you, so you don't have to go into Photoshop. If you have an image that has a plain background, like a plain white or plain green or whatever, it'll do that. So let's do that. I'm going to place again, Control D, and I have a little image. Let me see where it is. It's this one right here. It's a little iStock image, and you can see it's loaded, and I'm just going to drag and make a box for it. Alright, so now you can see it automatically gets rid of the background. It has a white background. I can show you the original here. I'll open it up with preview really quick. It's just a gold cup, so it has a white background. But InDesign already knows that it's going to use that white background. So let's select that. And then we're going to click the wraparound object, and it automatically knows there's a clipping path. It creates a clipping path when you import that because it has a different background. And there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can say same as clipping, because it creates this clipping path for you. Or there's another one that's called detect edges. Now this one is having a little trouble with detect edges. It basically just picks the edge of what it can tell the most difference between pixels, but it's having a problem right here. So I would stay with same as clipping. And then again, we can offset it so it's not right on top of it. And there we go. There's our images. So that's how you do that. It's a really nice effect, and you can put a lot of nice images right in your text.